Hello, friends, and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry, and if you're brand new here, Learn, Do, Become is created to help people who are drowning in the details of life and who want to create simple systems so that they can do what matters most. If that is you and you are thinking, how are you going to help me do that? Basically, we help people to build a command central that helps them take care of all of those papers and tasks and details and all this stuff. And the beginning of the year is typically the busiest time. And we're actually seeing that right now, where people are flooding into our program, and people who have been in our program for years are coming back and getting started again. And we are here to help bring you relief so you can feel excited about 2020 and about your life moving forward. Today, we're actually featuring a post written by one of our awesome team members, Jill Adams, and it's called Looking Back to Move Forward. This is such a great time of year where I'm sure you're seeing people all over social media talking about getting ready for your New Year's goals and thinking about 2019 and thinking about who you want to be. And there are so many great questions and frameworks out there. I've been going through several and different coaching programs that I'm enrolled in. And today we're just going to share what one of our team members has found is really working well for her. So what we're going to do is, first of all, I'm going to share a really fun success story from one of our community members. Then I'm going to give a little audio overview of Jill's post. And then at the end, I'm going to share what Eric and I are doing and how we're thinking about 2020. Because honestly, as we get close to the start of the new year, I am dedicated to making this one of those life-changing years. The one that actually makes our trajectory even more powerful, but not just ours, that does the same for you. That we can serve you at a level that feels awesome, not just to your mind and your home and your bank account, but to your heart. Okay, so we're about to jump in. Thanks so much for being here with us. All right, I want to start with a community member highlight. Noelle Keene is a member of our Step Mastery program, and in mid-December, she posted in our Facebook group a photo, and I'm going to read what she said, and I'll describe the photo. All right. Noelle says, "This is my most exciting project that I've been working on for 10 years, nearly completed. These are my grandfather's World War II letters and journals. My mom gave them to me upon my request so that I could type them up and make them readable. Over the years, I never focused and got them done because I didn't know how to prioritize. If it weren't for STEP, now that's our program that teaches you how to get organized, how to build a command central. It's called Steps to Everyday Productivity, acronym is STEP, okay? Because if it weren't for STEP, I don't think I ever would have gotten to where I am. This Christmas, I am printing them up and giving them to my mother in a nice spiral-bound document. Then my project for 2020 is to work with her and add some outside information, then publish it in a nice book for the rest of the family. Thank you for this wonderful program. Merry Christmas." And then she has a photo with her cute dog. And then she has these journals and these letters, and she's talking about this awesome thing. Okay, so we had like 32 comments, 161 people loved it. We're so excited for her. And the whole community was rallying around her, basically saying, this is awesome. Now I want to pause for a moment and ask you the question. Is there something that you have wanted to create for someone that you love? And have you wished that you had the time and the mind space and the confidence or the capability to actually go through and make that gift, create it, and be able to have this experience? Because what I've found is that the people who really resonate with our message and who come into our community and who love Learn, Do, Become are people who genuinely care about the other people in their lives. And they want to do things for them, but they often just feel so overwhelmed that these ideas typically just sit on the shelf. They never actually get them to happen. But when they come in, then they learn how to do it and they do make it happen, okay? So I'm going to share a little bit more about Noelle's story. So I reached back out to her the same day she posted, December 15th, and I said, okay, I love your project. Could we share a little screenshot and just share on social media or the website and let people know, no pressure, but I just think this is so inspiring. And she said, okay, thanks so much. It would be an honor, but can you wait till after Christmas? Because it's a surprise for my mom and I don't want her to accidentally see it. So I was like, sure, we won't say anything yet. All right. But then just today when I'm recording, so I'm recording on December 30th, 15 days later, she just posted a follow-up. She gave us permission to share. And here's what she said. Hi all. Before Christmas, I posted about how I gifted my big project of 2019 to my mom, my grandfather's World War II journals. This is my post-Christmas follow-up. My mom was so excited and thrilled. She called immediately after opening on Christmas and said she cried and was so happy to have received this. Everyone was passing it around and reading through, and this is her post on her Facebook page along with a couple photos. Now, we'll include these and show you what it looked like. We'll have them on the show notes page, all right? So go over there. Go to learndobecome.com/radio. You can find all of our podcasts, but yes, we'll have this on the show notes page. So this is what her mom wrote. And I want you to envision the person that you want to create something for posting something like this. Okay, so her mom says, my heart is so full of thanks to Noelle for her 10-year labor of love project, surprise to me, organizing my father's World War II journals and letters to his parents from 1944 to 1945. She typed out all the entries and letters, had all the pages beautifully printed and put into a nice binder. I opened the box Christmas morning at Noelle's Brothers. Lots of grateful tears and joy for this irreplaceable gift for our family. Oh my gosh, this totally gave me chills. I was talking with Eric about it this morning and both of us just said, okay, this just brings, how people say, all the feels, right? Where you just feel so proud of Noelle, so happy for their family that now they have this cherished record, so grateful for the service that her grandfather gave in World War II and grateful that he recorded the process. Now they can pass this down to children and grandchildren and cousins and maybe even share with friends and neighbors and community members because this is amazing. This is something that's historical, that's so meaningful in so many ways. So she posted these photos and this final project. Now, what I thought was awesome was the comments. I mean, she just posted it, I think today, 5 hours ago. We've already got 14 comments and like 105 people who are saying how much they loved it. But what was awesome is one of them says, oh yeah, someone commented, that's an incredible labor of love. I love this so much. And then Noelle added this, and this is the key that I want to bring up. She said she mentions that it was a 10-year labor of love, but really the true labor only began after learning STEP and pacing myself over the last 3 years. It wouldn't have been possible without my STEP skills. Now, I want to make sure you know I'm not trying to pat myself on the back for this project. Noelle did this project. She made it happen. She had the vision for it. She put in the work over 3 years pacing herself. So I'm not trying to take any credit for this. But what I'm trying to share is that if you want to know how to accomplish the projects that are in your heart, we can help you do that. And if you want a community that's going to cheer you on through the process and help you if you get stuck, we have that. We are close to having 10,000 members inside the Facebook group. We're actually going to send an email out to all our Mastery members because we've got a whole lot more and say, come in the Facebook group because it's phenomenal. But there is magic and excitement happening in the lives of these courageous, powerful individuals. And I know you have the capacity for that as well. And if right now you're thinking, oh, but I'm so overwhelmed, and my life is so hard, and there's so much going on, I get it. I totally get it. But I want you to know that there's a community here to help you if you are looking for that, okay? So just a huge shout out to Noelle. And then come check out our show notes page and you can see how awesome it is and see the pictures. She even has a picture of her grandfather. So cute. Okay, love it so much. All right, we're going to move on now and I'm going to walk through Jill's post about goal setting and about how we're going to look back over the last year in order to move forward. Okay, you so excited? As Jill started her post, she said, I was struggling pulling together my goals and found that if I stopped to look back, it helped me define how I wanted to move forward. So here are some things that have helped me. First, begin by asking or reviewing these questions. And she has a little series that are so helpful. In the past year, what made me happy? What made me sad? Then she wrote, I spent way too much time on blank. I wish I had more time for blank. I procrastinate when I have to blank. If I had one more hour in my day, I would spend it on blank. Okay, so these are just great prompts. I know I was listening to a coaching call with Rachel and Dave Hollis, and they were asking questions like, what was it that was really worth my time? What was a waste of my time? What made me feel like I was living a great life? I'm kind of paraphrasing, but those types of things. If you have 3 questions or 5 questions or 10 questions, it doesn't really matter. But what I do encourage you to do is tailor this to your needs. What questions are going to help you to really get the right answer from what you did last year that will help you to know what you need to do in the coming year? Then Jill added, right now, something that is weighing me down is blank. So good and so hard sometimes to actually acknowledge. I'll talk more about this towards the end, but it's really important to realize what's weighing you down because honestly, a lot of times the things that are weighing us down, we could make some changes so they won't weigh us down anymore. Which sometimes we think, no, I'm a victim. The things that are weighing me down just have to weigh me down. Actually, the older I get, the more I realize that's not true. We have hard things, all of us, but they don't need to weigh us down. And that's a powerful skill I'm still learning. I'm totally still learning, but I know that it's possible to go through really hard things and not feel weighed down. And then she said, in the next year, I want to improve on blank. And then she added, I want to let go of blank, and I want to focus on these areas. And then she just had, space where she could record all those things. Love it. And of course, all of these can be tailored, but she gives us a really good starting point because I honestly believe if each one of us just went through and just even answered the questions the way that Jill phrased them, we can get some really solid perspective on where we've been and where we need to go. All right. Then second, she said, you decide how you want to group your goals. She shares a link to a planner that she's using this year by Laura at iHeart Planners, which I love hearing what other planners people are using. Fantastic. Inside of our Facebook group, people share a lot of the different planners they're using, which is wonderful. I personally use a Franklin Covey planner, and I just got my new inserts for the year. I'm so excited. I use their Blooms compact one, and I have a whole link on our website to my Command Central. You can see all the products I use, but yeah, there's a great planner by Laura, iHeart Planners. That's what Jill's using. And then Jill says, I've organized my goals by roles, intentions, and platforms. Okay, I thought that was really interesting. So her roles, this is what she wrote down. Christian, wife, mom, friend, and work. Awesome. Now again, Learn, Do, Become is for people from all religious backgrounds or no religious background. This is just what Jill wrote down, which is great. Whatever it is that you would call a role for you, it might be how you define yourself to the bigger world. It might be your actual relationships with people, how you would define those. It might be things that you do. Maybe you're a volunteer. Maybe you're an employee. Maybe you're a parent, right? Okay, then she has intentions, and she wrote down a few. To be tidy, love it. To be faithful. To be healthy, to be generous. Okay, love it. Then under platforms, she wrote spiritual, financial, emotional, vocational, avocational, health. If you've ever followed Michael Hyatt, and she does reference his book where he talks about like the best year ever, he talks about the different areas of your life. And Jill refers to these as platforms. You could call them categories, whatever you want to call them. But she looks at, hey, here's where I'm looking to improve. And then she wrote down things like impact, health, family, faith, relationships. Okay. So being able to just look at our lives, what roles am I playing? What am I working towards? Where am I doing these things? Like what areas of my life? Kind of fun to just sit and brainstorm and take some time. And then here is Jill's 8-step process to create the goals. Okay. So number 1, she says, choose no more than 7 or so platforms. So that's a number that's really working well for her. Some people might say, oh, you can have 12 platforms and maybe focus one a month or something like that. Or some people might say, I'm just focusing on like 3 things. That's actually for me this year. I'm focusing on 3 things, and I'll share that at the end. But I like how she says, for her, it's no more than 7. Great. Number 2, then choose the next task to focus on in each platform. This is something that we talk about often in our STEP program. And if you've taken our free training, the one at learndobecome.com/step, we share exactly how that works, how you identify a next action. But you want to be able to look and say, okay, spiritually, what would be a next step I could take to move forward that way? Awesome. Then, number 3, she says, start with the easiest task to move forward. So let's say you've got 7 areas of your life, or 7 platforms, as Jill calls them. You've identified a next step for each of those 7. Now you just pick the easiest. Which one feels like great? I could just work on that right now. And then for step 4, she says, and maybe it's not really a step, it's more of like a note number 4 or idea number 4. She says, this helps trick your brain to start progress. Okay. Okay. Then number 5, she says, there's no need to get the entire year planned out yet. And I really appreciated this because sometimes I feel like, I don't want to set goals for the whole year because I don't know if we're going to be traveling or if this is going to happen. Or I don't know what kind of mood we're going to be in, or I don't know if we're going to have challenges with this particular situation. And so I just feel like I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know everything the whole year. But I like how she says you don't need to plan the entire year. Let's just trick our brain or convince our brain or help our brain learn we can start progressing. Next, she says, we're going to decide if it's a habit or a project for each task. And I really like this. This is something that I learned from Michael Hyatt, is that some of our goals are just kind of like habit goals. I'm going to exercise every day, or I'm going to have a green smoothie every day, or our family's going to actually sit down and plan fun every week. Because I'm not very good at having fun, but I'm working on it. I'm getting better. So habits are awesome. And I've been actually learning a lot more. The author of Atomic Habits, I've been listening to some great ideas from him. And that's exciting too. So thinking about habits, love it. And projects then are a little bit different. So maybe you're thinking, yes, habits like exercise or routines for the family, but there might be projects like, I need to plan a getaway with my spouse, or I'm going to plan a new way that I'm going to engage in my business, right? In my marketing or in taking care of my community. That could be a project to establish a really good routine, or to plan a specific event or create a specific product or something like that. Then number 7, she said, writing down your tasks and goals greatly increases effectiveness. Okay, I can't say amen loud enough to this because writing them down has been huge. Eric kind of laughs at me. He's like, you make the same list like a million times. And I know, I kind of do. But when I write things down and create my vision, I am amazed when I go back and I look at what I've written and see how much I accomplish. Over the holiday break, I've been doing a lot of organizing, so I think it's so fun. And I pulled everything out of my closet in my office, and I just sat down. I got rid of maybe 1/8 of it, just stuff that I'm like, I don't need this anymore. It needs to go to someone else or whatever. But I had this big stack of all of the notes that I have taken at all the conferences I've attended over the past 2 years. And, Eric and I have invested heavily in masterminds and coaching and training. And I have tons of notes and ideas, and I've put most of them into Evernote, and I've applied things every time I go to a conference. If you haven't seen our conference notes podcast, that one's fun. We'll link to that in the show notes as well. But being able to take all those notes and go through it, I was able to find a lot of my goal sheets, and it was so empowering and really fulfilling to be able to see that the things that I've actually written were showing up in my life. And I thought, oh my gosh, this used to be a dream, and now look. And that's how I want you to feel. I want you to write something down, and there might be a little twinge of, is this really going to happen? But as you continue writing it down and then working towards it, It's amazing how things just fall into place. And then number 8 that Jill wrote down was plan a celebration once achieved. Okay, I just have to tell you, I've been really bad at this. I'm really bad at celebrating. I'm really good at getting things done, but then I just move to the next thing. I don't often celebrate and think, oh, look how cool this is and how awesome. So that's one of the things I'm working on this year, is being able to celebrate more. So anyway, these 8 ideas I think are really fun and hopefully are giving you some aha moments. And my goal in sharing this, and I think Jill's goal in sharing this as well, isn't to say, hey, this is the only way to plan your year, the only way to plan your goals. But it's a way to say, are you ready to make some progress in your life? And do you want to know what's working, at least in one person's life? It's really fun. Now, when you are thinking about writing down your goals, Jill's referencing Michael Hyatt here, she includes 5 reasons why you want to do this from Michael. Number 1, it forces you to clarify what you want. The more specific we are, the more specific our results will be. I'm actually going through this program where I'm learning how to reprogram my brain. Oh, super helpful. Kind of painful, to be honest. But forcing me to clarify and get specific, I'm actually creating something that I can visualize, and I'm writing down things that are so specific that it's almost silly. But clarifying what you want is going to help you, because if you're just thinking, oh, I want a happy family and financial security and I want to be super healthy, great. But the more specific you get, the more you're actually going to see those specifics show up. Number 2, it motivates you to action. I love that. The whole goal is not to create vision boards that just sit there. It's to have something that inspires us to do something. 3, helps us overcome resistance. I understand resistance acutely. I guess that's a good word for it. The last month's been pretty rough for me personally. And I feel like this resistance, though, has helped me to be able to clarify and set goals that I think are going to be more fantastic than I imagined. There has to be opposition. You know, that's how you get stronger. When you lift weights, you have to have good, strong resistance. Otherwise, you're not going to get stronger. Lifting cotton candy to your mouth is not going to do the same thing for your body as lifting some pretty heavy weights, right? Number 4, it will filter other opportunities. Oh, so smart. As Eric and I have grown, Learn, Do, Become, we receive beautiful invitations all the time from community members who are doing great projects, or friends who are inviting us to participate in things, or people who are doing summits, or people who want speakers at events. There's so many beautiful opportunities. And if we said yes to everything, we would be so overwhelmed and we would not be able to move forward, and we would have no balance in our family. But because we're very clear on what we're going for, then we can say, hey, this opportunity is awesome, but we're going to have to say no. And I've learned that the hard way. This past year, I've said yes to about 4 or 5 opportunities that I immediately regretted. As soon as we finished them, I thought, oh, why did I do that? Why did I do that? I'm never doing that again. Not that the people were awesome, but as I did it, I knew this is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm sure you've experienced that as well. Then number 5, it enables you to see and celebrate your progress. Again, I love that word, to celebrate. There's a lot to celebrate. A lot of times we're obviously focusing on what feels hard and what feels overwhelming and what's keeping us from being safe and where we need to be alert. I think I've thought that being on high alert has saved me. Maybe you feel that way right now too. But when you can actually realize how much you are accomplishing, it feels really good. And then just a couple other things as we kind of finish this up. We then need to review our goals. If we're going to write down our goals, we've got to be reviewing them. So Michael Hyatt, again, recommends daily reading your goals to start every day. The way I do this is I write down my goals in Evernote, and it's called Spiritual Creation. That's my notebook. And I do one for every season. So in the fall, I have like fall 2019 daily reminders, and I open it every morning. And maybe not every morning, but most mornings. And I just review. Here's why I'm here. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm working towards. I even have little pictures. Anyway, super fun. Okay, so I have my daily reminders. Then weekly, review your motivations for each of your goals, your why, right? Quarterly, reassess your goals. I love the word reassess. Sometimes you set a goal and it feels really good, and then you move forward and you're like, it actually isn't helping. This goal is feeling really stressful. Or I set it, maybe it's too big, or maybe it's the wrong direction, or maybe it's just causing more stress than it's alleviating. Really helpful to be able to reassess. To close out her post, Jill included 5 options in a quarterly review. Now, I believe these are from Michael Hyatt. I'm not 100% sure, but go check out his book, Best Year Ever, for more information and ideas. It's really phenomenal. Eric and I have even gone to the live conference. I'm not sure if he's doing those anymore, but it was really good. Great information. Okay, so let's just go through these 5 options. So it's rejoice, recommit, revise, remove, and replace. But first, let's just talk about a quarterly review. What is that? I actually do hotel nights. I'm not sure if I've talked about these before, but I find a Priceline Express deal in my own neighborhood, and I try to go monthly right now, but I used to do quarterly or even once a year, but you just go away from everything and you take time to actually think through it. I love step 1 about rejoicing. Brings back this theme of celebration. Number 2 is recommit. A lot of times we get sidetracked and we don't actually come back and commit and promise to ourselves, especially if maybe we haven't done very well and we feel, I don't know, subpar, guilty, like a loser, right? So recommitting, because strategies can change at any time, but you can commit to the goals, not the strategy. You can commit to excellence in your health, but maybe you're not going to do it the way you planned. That's okay. Number 3 was revise. So making those edits. There is a delusional zone that Michael Hyatt refers to with your goal setting. We don't want to be delusional, but we do want to think bigger and think about miracles and think about how there's a power beyond us that can help us with that. So that's awesome. And then Jill adds, don't revert to the comfort zone either. Aim for the discomfort zone. Love it. Okay, number 4 was remove. So it's a last resort, but sometimes necessary. And then finally replace. Like if you have to remove a goal, you can replace it. I think that our lives are constantly growing and changing. And I had a talk with my sister this morning. I was out walking my dog and gave my sister a call. And we were talking about how as we're getting older, we're learning, hey, I'm not going to spend my life doing a bunch of stuff that I hate in hopes that it's going to make a bunch of people happy. It's time to start shifting things so we can serve and love and care for our responsibilities and do great things. But we don't have to do things that we hate. Yes, there are some things like, okay, changing diapers or maybe budgeting or, there might be some stuff that you don't enjoy. But changing the way we do it, why we do it, how we do it, where we do it, when we do it, there's a lot of ways we can adjust. So I love that. And then Jill finishes up saying that winning at our goals and celebrating them helps keep us going and motivates us to keep pressing on to bigger goals. I love that. And I want my life to continually be growing and growing and growing. But I'm going to transition now and just talk a little bit about what my goals are for this year and how simple they are. And I actually haven't been thinking about it in terms of like bigger goals. And I guess in some ways they are. I want more impact. I want my goals to challenge me. But I've been feeling pretty stressed lately for a few different reasons. I think, and I'll just share a little bit about what's going on in my heart. If you don't care, then you can just end the podcast right now. Go check out the show notes page. But if you want to know a little bit about what's been going on here, then I'm going to share it with you because I think that one of my strengths is that I'm willing to share where I'm not perfect. And I think it's important to be able to hear that from other people because sometimes you just go and you listen to leadership training or you hear all these awesome people out there and it just sounds like nothing goes wrong for them. But things are hard sometimes. So I'm willing to share with you a little bit more about what's happening behind the scenes in my journey, if that would be helpful for you. Okay, so the main thing I want to start with is just why I have been holding back. My goal is to have flow in my life where things just feel good, where I know what I'm working on, I feel excited, I'm not apologetic, I know what I'm focused on becoming and doing, and I feel like there's just a natural flow. And I've felt that at some points in my life, but I have not felt it lately at all. And I was thinking about why I haven't had that flow because Eric was asking me about this. We got our anniversary and he just was letting me pour my heart out to him. Bless his heart. Okay, so I found actually a few reasons why I didn't have flow. And as I'm sharing this, I'm hopeful that you'll be able to think about your life. If you don't have flow right now, like you're consistently stressed out and overwhelmed and just haphazardly working on things, but you don't feel like you're living your true purpose and that you're just in sync with what your higher power has for you or what you really want, hopefully you can identify some reasons, and maybe some of them might be what I've identified. Okay, first, I have been very afraid of success. A lot's happened at Learn, Do, Become over the last several years. We've reached, literally millions of people through all of our podcasts and posts, and we've had more than 1 million downloads now of the podcast. Our reach on social media is more than 1 million, usually, I think it's per week. We have a lot of people we're reaching. Not everyone's on our newsletter list or whatever coming to our class, but we have literally millions of people that we reach on, a regular basis. And as I've seen the numbers increase, there have been voices in my head saying, I'm just not a good enough leader for all these people. I can't talk to that many people. These are just more people I'm going to let down. I felt afraid. And as our Facebook group has grown in the Step Mastery group, I've been afraid to go in there because I just thought, there's a lot of people. I'm totally an introvert. That's a lot of people. So I've just kind of felt fear, afraid, and I've kind of avoided doing things because I was just worried, I'm putting myself in front of all these people. And what does that mean? So it came pretty fast and that scared me. Second, I've been paralyzed because there's been so many options. If any of you are running a business or running a home or running anything, you know that there are a lot of paths to success. You could be a podcaster, you could do video, you could run your family in a variety of ways. There's not one way to be successful, but because as we've grown, our options have grown, there are so many choices to make that I've just felt like, what if I make the wrong one? I don't want to start moving in one direction and then find out I hate it and then be stuck and then not be able to change things. I've just been so afraid. So I've kind of felt paralyzed. Third, I've been pretty angry. I hate that word because I just grew up in a family where none of us ever expressed anger. And I don't even think I ever would say I felt angry. I don't think I've ever called that out, but I've been pretty angry because I've been a people pleaser and I've put myself last a lot, always trying to accommodate, but then having nothing left over. This has been one of my main problems, which is why I have to work so hard, take a hotel night and be deliberate and taking care of myself, because naturally I don't. It's always the first thing that goes. Even as Eric and I were talking, I just said every morning I just kind of wake up and I think, well, how's Eric doing? What does he want to do? Do you want to exercise with me? Do you not? Do you need this? Do you not? And he just said, why do you do that? He's like, I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions and take care of myself. You don't have to wake up every morning asking yourself what you can do for me. But part of me thinks, well, but a really nice wife makes sure that her husband is happy, right, at all times, which it's just, I haven't been doing it wisely. Obviously, I love my husband and our marriage is the most important relationship that I have on earth. That matters to me. But not just in my marriage, but with our children and even with our team or our community. I'm always like, oh, hey, if anyone feels stressed, I'll just do it. That's how I've just kind of run my life. And it's been really awful in a lot of ways. I think I'm kind and I think I'm helpful, but I'm always thinking I'll just take any stress on me. And that's what keeps me up at night. And then also, I've been really concerned about some things in our family. Being a deliberate mother and taking good care of the home and the feeling in the home and being available for our children is really important to me. I never intended to run a business, to be honest. I wanted to be PTA president, and I wanted to make bread every day or every week and like be that mom in the classroom all the time and just always be there with my kids. Now, I have been able to be home and working from home and working with Eric, and the way things have worked out, it's actually been pretty ideal so that I am there with our kids, and that's been awesome. But sometimes I get concerned because I put myself in the middle. And then when there are challenges that come up, I blame myself. And I'm like, well, maybe if I was only 100% focused on home and I wasn't doing podcasts and I wasn't doing a business, maybe we wouldn't have some of these challenges, So there's been a lot of talking to God, talking to Eric, talking with the kids, and figuring out how do I best manage this? Because there's nothing I want more than to be able to have a really strong family. And I'm grateful. We actually do. We have a very strong family. But I'm learning that some of the things I've been doing have not been as helpful as they could have been. And I'm trying to keep things vague enough that I'm not pouring out any personal things in front of the world. But I also don't want to make it sound like we've got horrible problems. A lot of things are, if I told you all my problems, you'd probably be like, you guys are doing really well. Don't worry about it. But it has been heavy on me. It has. Okay. Also, I have believed that my stress and anxiety is what's made me successful and safe, which I was meeting with my friend Michelle, and she was like, April, that is a really dangerous belief, because if you believe that stress and anxiety makes you successful and helps you have a quality life, you're never going to have a quality life because you're always going to be stressed and anxious. So I've been working on that, and that's been a lot of reprogramming to me, because I think, well, maybe if I tighten my stomach and I don't breathe and I don't sleep and I worry a whole lot, then maybe I'll come up with some really good ideas. Have you ever felt that? Is that so ridiculous? But I think I've considered my stress and anxiety as my secret weapon. And I think it's like my kryptonite, to be honest. And then finally, I've been recirculating traumatic experiences in my brain. And that I've been going through this program. It's a neurological reprogramming thing. And I actually have a podcast with a program creator coming out soon. So keep watch for that. But I've been learning that so many times I react in a very strong, not awesome way to bad things that happen because I'm compounding it with things that have felt traumatic to me in the past. So I've been working on that and not recirculating all that trauma. Because what would happen is I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I would immediately start thinking back to everything traumatic that I've gone through. And it's not even that traumatic, but there are things that my brain registered as being unsafe. And that's been really hard. So I've been working on that. But those are, and I'm sure there's probably other reasons too, but as I've been introspective, I've identified these are a lot of things that have been keeping me from being in flow because I'm so stressed and people-pleasing and frustrated that I'm wasting time. And Eric and I were talking about it. We're like, over the past few years, especially 2019, we have wasted a lot of time. Now, it's been pretty amazing that our results that we've been able to generate in our family, in our business, in our life have been pretty outstanding, I think, in spite of that. So then we thought, well, if in 2020 we don't waste time, we call it molehilling, we just dwell on these molehills and we ignore these mountains of opportunity that are available, why aren't we doing that? So we came up with this new idea where if one of us starts dwelling on things, we're going to say, hey, we're going to stop molehilling. Let's move on. I like that. So Eric and I are working on that together. So I just have 3 goals for this year. And I haven't finalized them and perfected them and put them into habit or project. And I haven't made them SMART goals. And I haven't done all that stuff. But these are just 3 things I'm working on. One is I want to bring that flow into my life. I want a creative workflow. And that includes family life and business. I just want to be able to be creative and have a very fun, simple process. It's not hindered by all of my thoughts in my head. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I want to be a true leader in our family and in our team. I want to stop putting myself in the middle and being a people pleaser, and I want to help lead and bring out the best in the people who I get to work with. That's exciting to me. So leadership is huge. And then number three is I want plenty, I put that in all caps, plenty of family time and downtime and breathing. And I want to even prioritize vacation. I have not been good at vacationing, at all. I never plan things I'm excited about. Most of my vacations are business trips. Or Eric and I will plan a family vacation, or he plans it. And then I'm stressed the whole time trying to, work or help our children become, more qualified or skilled. They're like, Mom, can we sometimes just do things that aren't personal development? I love that question. I'm like, don't you want personal development all day long? And they're like, no, I just want to actually sleep in till noon. Okay, so, which I used to do as a teenager. Okay, so those are my three goals. It's pretty simple. Creative workflow, become a true leader, and have plenty of that time that's there for breathing, space, buffer, family. And I know that in the midst of all that, I'm going to work hard. I like having a strong body and a strong mind and reaching impact goals and having better habits and all these things. But I just thought if by the end of 2020, I can feel that creativity flowing and be able to empower other people and not put myself at the center. And if I can just have that time where I feel like a person, that's going to be huge. And I think that I'm actually going to get better results in every other area of my life if I do have these things in place. So I'm going to close up now, but I just want to leave you with some encouragement that if you're feeling like things are too heavy and I don't know how to move forward, that I know that there is a higher power. Now, whether you call that God or Mother Nature or the universe or however you phrase it, everyone phrases it differently. I know there is a higher power that is available to help us. I've spent a lot of time on my knees, especially over the past week. There have been some moments where I honestly just look at the situation in front of me and I just think, I have no idea. I have no idea what to do. I don't feel like I can make any decision. I honestly just don't know what to do. And so I have been really prayerful and asking for help and asking for light and guidance. And I promise you, 100% of the time, it comes. And it doesn't always come in the way you expect. So I don't want to make it sound like, oh, wow, April just gets everything she needs. But I will say all of my needs have been met. And sometimes the perspective is a little bit different, but I feel so grateful. I'm closing up 2019 feeling so much gratitude and so much love and so much hope. And I know that there's some rocky roads ahead. I get it because this past year has been a lot of rocky roads. So just like you, there are things that might feel kind of scary and out of my comfort zone and feel hard. But I love what Jill has shared in this post. So grateful for her sharing that. I love to see the success of our community members. And yes, come join us. If you haven't yet, come join us. And I'm so grateful for the chance to be with you. Thank you for the more than 1 million downloads. Thank you for being part of Learn to Become and for trusting us to help guide you, even though we're not there yet. We get to kind of be guides along the path while we're still learning. I think of us as co-journeyers. Is that a word? We're all moving forward. And I'm making a commitment that I'm not going to let fear and anger and all this stuff hold me back anymore. And I'm hopeful that you can do the same thing. Okay? So if you want to come to our show notes page, it's at learndobecome.com/episode 74. Yay! 74 episodes. And then if you want to come to our free training, if you haven't taken it yet and you're thinking, how can you help me create a Command Central that's going to change my life? Then you go to learndobecome.com/step. You can become a stepper. That's what our Facebook community calls themselves. Come be part of our almost 10,000 in there. Build your Command Central. We've got some awesome stuff happening and I can't wait. I am so proud of our community and so excited for what's to come. So happy 2020. We'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.